Today I'm going to make some packets from these placemats we found, and I've got a little elastic and some buttons with birds on them. So first I'm going to measure the depth of the pocket that I want and just make a mark on both sides. And then I will fold it up, make sure the side is even, and then pin it in place. And then the other side. I'm going to do the same thing with both placemats and just kind of do both of them as I go. Now I'll take them to my ironing board, and these are a synthetic, so I want to make sure that I have the right setting on heat, test it a little bit. Okay, and just want to press that down nice and crisp. And then we'll go over to the sewing machine. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can do this stitch by hand. I'm just going to do a straight stitch and locking my stitch at the beginning and the end. A locking stitch is just going backward for a few stitches, and your sewing machine should have that feature. If you are doing this by hand, you're just going to do a knot at the beginning and the end, and that just makes it a little bit more durable. There'll be a lot of hands putting cards in and out of these packets, so we want to make sure that the stitching stays in. Okay, and then always make sure to cut off your extra thread ends. There's nothing more frustrating or messy looking than having little threads. Okay, so now we need to attach some elastic for the button. And I'm just going to mark the center of the top flat on both of these. And then if I measure out my elastic cord, I think 2 inches will do it. It's a nice length that will go around the button that I have. And just cut 2 of those and then fold it in half and pin it right where I marked the center of the top flap. And then make sure I have that done on both of them. Oops. Let's go back to the sewing machine. I'm just going to stitch these in place, making sure to lock my stitch forward and back, and make sure that elastic is nice and securely stitched in there. Again, you can do this by hand. I just like to use my sewing machine for most of this work. Now we're going to mark where the button goes, and I'm going to put the button right on that mark, and then on the other side I'm going to stitch a smaller button, and I do this because it makes it more durable, and with all the opening and closing that will happen, I want that button to really be stable, and this will help with that. So I just stitch through the button on either side, and then when I'm done, I'm going to wrap this thread around. That makes a shank for the button, which is a little space between the button and the fabric. I'm going to tie a little knot and then cut off the extra, and then I'm going to repeat this for the other packet. Here we are, a set of placemat packets.